What if I told you that the next global catastrophe won't come from war, climate change, or pandemics, but from above? Today, on International Asteroid Day, the one day we remember how vulnerable Earth truly is, NASA has issued an urgent asteroid alert. But the real question isn't just what's coming, it's why now? Why today? Why is NASA choosing this moment to break its silence about a massive object headed toward our planet, with unknown consequences? And why is no one else talking about this? If you think we're safe just because we have telescopes and satellites, think again. The truth is, we are terrifyingly unprepared. Most asteroids pass Earth harmlessly, but QX11 is different. Not only is it enormous, but its orbital arc is wide and unstable, meaning it's difficult to predict precisely where it will go. The asteroid is being affected by the Yarkovsky effect, where sunlight alters its trajectory in unpredictable ways. This year, their bulletin included a high-interest object, with possible Earth-crossing potential. Named 2025 QX11, this asteroid isn't just another harmless rock in space. It's fast, large, and unpredictable. What shocked astronomers the most was not just its size, roughly the length of a football stadium, but how late it was detected. The late identification reveals one thing. Even with billions spent on space observation, Earth remains shockingly exposed. And NASA's timing, issuing this alert on the very day we commemorate the Tunguska event, is no coincidence. It's a message wrapped in silence, buried in science. And it says one thing: we are not as safe as we thought. That means traditional tracking models aren't enough. Even a small error in calculation could mean a near miss, or a direct hit. And that's why astronomers are watching it like hawks, refreshing data hour by hour. When a rock this big moves this fast and comes this close, one wrong calculation could rewrite history. Literally. Because when the next asteroid strikes, and it's not an if, but a when, we may only have hours to react, and the scariest part, we might already be too latinosa docenti, just issue asteroid warnings without reason, especially not on International Asteroid Day. On June 30th, 1908, something exploded over Siberia with the power of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs. No crater, no warning. Just 830 square miles of forest flattened in a moment. Scientists later confirmed it was an asteroid, barely 50 to 60 meters wide. Now imagine QX11, nearly 5 times that size. Making atmospheric entry over a populated area, cities would vanish. Power grids would collapse. Tsunamis, shockwaves, and fires would ripple across nations. And yet, there's no global evacuation plan. There's no early warning system for the public, no global protocol for impact events. Over a century after Tunguska, we still haven't learned, and now the countdown may be repeating itself. Never uses the word danger unless it has to. But its latest bulletin uses terms like monitoring closely, anomalous trajectory, and priority object. These aren't just technical terms. In coded space agency language, they mean, we don't fully understand this threat yet. Adhere to that the rare use of the Torino scale, the impact risk scale. And ULL find QX11 sits just high enough to cause tension, but low enough to avoid public panic. It's a master class in cautious alarm. But make no mistake, NASA is sounding a silent siren, and only a few are listening. In 2013, an asteroid the size of a bus exploded over Chelyabinsk, Russia. With no warning, a shockwave injured over 1,500 people. That rock was just 66 feet wide. QX11 is 10 times larger. And the terrifying part, Chelyabinsk wasn't even on NASA's radar. That's because many small and mid-sized asteroids are made of dark rock, absorbing light, evading telescopes, and slipping through our defense systems. Only detect them after they pass or explode. It's what QX11 reminds us. It is not just the giant asteroids we need to fear. It's the ones we never see. Coming contrary to popular belief, Earth's skies are not completely monitored. The southern hemisphere has far fewer telescopes. Oceanic skies are barely tracked. Dozens of potential impact objects have come from blind zones, areas where our systems just on T-look. QX11's initial detection came after it exited one such blind spot. If its arc had started closer, we wouldn't be talking about probabilities. We'd be counting impact hours. This isn't a sci-fi movie. It's the reality of Earth's incomplete defense. The destruction would be regional, but global in consequence. Earthquakes, atmospheric dust blocking sunlight, temperature drops, food supply chains collapsing. Even a small asteroid impact can mimic the after-effects of nuclear war. What we call civilization is fragile. The models don't lie. NASA's 2022 DART mission proved we can redirect an asteroid by crashing a spacecraft into it. But here's the issue. We need months or years of advance notice. QX11, if confirmed on a risky arc, gives us just weeks. And launching a mission of that scale in that window, near impossible, we have the tool, but not the time. June 30 isn't random. It was chosen to remind us that the next Tunguska can happen anytime. But ironically, most people treat it like a science holiday. In reality, it's a planetary fire drill. And this year, the alarm bell may be real. Governments and space agencies walk a tightrope between public awareness and mass panic. But silence breeds distrust. And in the age of citizen astronomers and space live streams, secrets don't stay secret long. While the world's attention is fixed on social media trends and political drama, something far more urgent is unfolding. Not in government labs or secretive observatories, but in the laptops and telescopes of everyday people. Across platforms like Reddit, Twitter, X, YouTube, and Discord, a growing wave of citizen astronomers, amateur stargazers, backyard astrophysicists, and independent sky trackers are sounding an alarm the mainstream refuses to echo. Their message is chilling in its simplicity. Something is coming. No one's talking about it. Some models showed the asteroid coming within 0.01 lunar distances, a fraction of the distance between Earth and the Moon. And then came the bigger twist. Multiple observers started to suspect that QX11 wasn't alone. Posts with headlines like "NASA is hiding something about QX11," "Second object detected, why is no one reporting it?" and "The public is doing NASA's job," began trending on niche forums. YouTube live streams from amateur observatories started gaining tens of thousands of views, some with telescopic footage and real-time tracking overlays. Discord servers grew overnight, filled with users running orbital simulations, checking star maps, and reanalyzing frame-by-frame telescope footage from the southern hemisphere. It began quietly. A handful of skywatchers noticed irregularities in NASA's publicly released orbital path diagrams for asteroid 2025 QX11. Minor inconsistencies. Gaps in data, trajectories that didn't align. These weren't random conspiracy theorists. These were people with degrees in physics, computer science, and astronomy who run open-source orbital tracking software from home. One by one, they began publishing independent trajectory models, and what they found sent ripples across the underground space-watching community. Was it debris? A fragment from a past collision? Or something else entirely? No answers. Just silence from the agencies. Many of their simulations pointed toward a much narrower Earth intersection corridor than NASA's official projections. Videos began surfacing showing what appeared to be a shadow object trailing or moving parallel to QX11's path, not yet logged in the official asteroid database. This silence is what triggered the viral storm. But what really turned this movement into a global flashpoint was a data leak. A screenshot from a European space agency internal communication thread where QX11 was referred to as possibly fragmented or clustered. Though its authenticity remains unverified, it exploded online. They aren't just questioning the official narrative, they're replacing it. And their audience is growing faster than the institutions can respond. Within hours, dozens of amateur observatories began searching for secondary bodies, and many claim to have found blinking infrared anomalies just outside the main object's light signature. The situation is now this. We have an unofficial network of global observers, many of them trained, building a parallel intelligence stream, independent of NASA, SA, or any national agency. Here's the deeper truth. This is not just about QX11 anymore. It's about trust. It's about the growing realization that space transparency is selective, that unless a threat meets certain criteria, it may never be revealed in time. That public disclosure is filtered through politics, funding, and reputation management. And when that veil slips, When people realize they may be more informed by Reddit than by official channels, something shifts. You're witnessing that shift right now. And while some of these citizen-led claims will surely turn out to be incorrect, their core question remains disturbingly valid. It belongs to everyone. And that terrifies the institutions who once controlled the narrative. If we're this dependent on amateur astronomers to sound the alarm, what else are we missing? The next time something truly dangerous barrels toward Earth, will we hear it from a government agency? Or from a guy in his backyard with a $1,000 telescope and a passion for the stars? In the age of AI-enhanced tracking, open-source orbital software, and global live streams, the power to monitor Earth's skies no longer belongs to just a few. So when the next update about QX11 drops, ask yourself not just what it says, but who's telling you the truth. Because in this new space age, silence might be the loudest warning of all. Imagine turning on the news the day before an asteroid impact, only to see debates about celebrity divorces, election scandals, and billion-dollar football contracts. While the skies shift quietly above us, Earth's mainstream media remains glued to the same noise machine. Why? Because asteroid warnings don't sell. But fear, outrage, and viral controversy do. Let's break this down. Instead, you'll find thumbnails of red carpet outfits, political mudslinging, or whether the Fed will cut interest rates this quarter. Why? Because uncertainty, no matter how critical, doesn't fit the business model of modern news. Despite NASA's silent urgency and independent astronomers screaming from their rooftops, you won't find QX11 on the front page of CNN, BBC, or Fox News. In the world of 24/7's infotainment, asteroid alerts suffer from two fatal flaws. First, they're complex. They require science, literacy, patient explanation, and trust in probability. The average viewer scrolls in 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, they're more likely to click on Kardashians' slam haters than NASA detects Yarkovsky drift in potentially hazardous object. The result? Truly urgent stories get buried under a mountain of manufactured urgency. Second, they're not click certain. An asteroid might hit us, or it might not. That maybe is the death sentence for ad revenue. Media outlets are driven by engagement metrics. But here's the darker side. This silence isn't just commercial, it's strategic. But here's the darker side. This silence isn't just commercial, it's strategic. When media giants ignore an existential threat, it often signals a calculated effort to avoid public panic. Editors and producers operate under the assumption that the public can handle incomplete or evolving truths. They fear spiraling panic over an asteroid that might miss, even if the consequences of a hit would be catastrophic. So they wait. Wait for certainty. Wait for confirmation. Wait until the fireball appears in the sky. But even if it does, this moment has already exposed a deep failure in our information systems. By then, it's too late. QX11 might never make landfall. It might slip past Earth in silence. Just another cosmic bullet dodged. Because, let's say for a moment that QX11 were confirmed as a real impact threat. Ask yourself this. Stories are selected not based on global importance, but on the dopamine hit they offer in your feed. Would you hear about it from a major media outlet? Or from a viral TikTok uploaded by a 19-year-old astronomer with a telescope in his garage? We now live in a world where corporate media filters reality through algorithms, not urgency. So what happens when an asteroid like QX11 doesn't trend? It vanishes, not from the sky, but from public awareness. And that silence becomes dangerous. Because in a world where information is currency, the most critical knowledge can still go bankrupt. So if you're watching this video right now, consider yourself part of the resistance. You're among the few who looked past the clickbait, past the gossip, and into the stars, where the real headlines are written in orbit. You didn't scroll past the warning. You stopped. You listened. And now, you know? NASA's planetary defense budget for the entire planet is just over $300 million a year. That may sound like a big number until you realize it's less than what the U.S. military spends annually on air conditioning in war zones. What we don't have is funding, but there's no global follow-up plan. No international defense coalition. There's no rapid response readiness system. To put it in perspective, one asteroid the size of QX11 slamming into a populated region could unleash damages estimated at over $1 trillion, triggering mass casualties, destroying critical infrastructure, crashing stock markets, and possibly throwing entire countries into crisis. And we're only willing to protect it with pocket change. And yet, we still treat planetary defense like a part-time science fair, not a frontline global security priority. It's even more baffling when you consider that we already have the technology. Powerful telescopes, impact simulations, kinetic deflection prototypes, AI-driven sky mapping. The DART mission, which proved we could slightly deflect an asteroid, cost just $330 million, and it was a historic milestone. When you compare those figures to what we spend on entertainment, luxury, or political lobbying, the message is clear. We've built a civilization that can be wiped out in minutes. The math doesn't just not add up, it screams negligence. Only a handful of countries, the US, Russia, China, have space programs capable of a kinetic asteroid response. Most nations, no communication systems, no drills, no local impact strategies, and in the global south, forget it. In a real scenario, the world's most vulnerable would pay the highest price. QX11 is still out there. Scientists are watching it. But the data is incomplete. The next update is due in 72 hours. Should asteroid defense be a global priority? What would you do if we had just 1 week's notice? If the object veers just a few degrees inward, everything changes. The question isn't if Earth will face an asteroid impact, it's when. And the countdown may already be in motion. We look to the stars with wonder. Forget they sometimes look back with fury. NASA's asteroid warning isn't just a report, it's a riddle, a test, a message. Will we prepare now? Or will we wait for fire to fall from the sky? Tell us in the comments. Do you trust the official data? Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to know the truth. Because here at the Daily Scope, we bring you what others won't. Tomorrow's skies might bring beauty. At night, they carry a warning.